So, I'm sure that there are questions that you might want to ask. Are there any general questions that either Rachel or Kimberly can ask or answer now? Or
can I wrap something up real quick?
Oh, please.
So I just have to give absolute honor to you. I can tell you the story you just heard is a story I'm not ready to share yet. I haven't talked about the aggression towards me and what I experienced on my last deployment because I haven't processed it yet. Somebody captured it with a photo, and I don't know what to do with that photo. I also haven't talked about reintegrating yet. With Brian, I've shared it. I have a lot of anxiety. I haven't gone through what you've gone through yet. I can tell you in here that I will be reaching out to women like you. I will continue to build bridges with women like you because I know I can't do it alone because I'm scared to death. So I want to thank you for sharing so honestly that experience and what you did go through. But I want you all to know that I'm not going to do it alone. I won't succeed alone. And these two women are going to play a critical role in my life as I transition out. I'm at 25 years now. I hope to hit 30. I don't know that I will. But I wanted to recognize you, and that took a lot. And I haven't gotten to that point where I can quite share that story yet. So I really wanted to give you that respect.
Andy.
I did have a question. You mentioned that you're both working with total force and reintegration. Particularly interested in any programs that you might have had which are kind of targeted for not the active component, but the reserve component, the civilian component, and the contractor component, which are all part of the total force. And how might some of those programs have differed? And where might you have had some of the successes in there? I've always been interested in that.
So what this gentleman is talking about, when he talks about total force, it is not just the active component. It is the DoD civilians, and it is also the contractors. They are part of that total force. We don't do as good of a job, really, looking out for them. He also talked about the reserve component, which is 1/3 of the force. And that's been a huge effort over this past year. And the one thing I'd like to highlight is something called the Code of Support. The Code of Support has created the opportunity through something called Patriot Link, that regardless of your discharge status, whether you're a reserve component, whether you're active, you can reach out to them for case management and help. And I think it's very forward thinking. A lot of times, if you are discharged from the military for something other than honorable, you don't have resources available to you. But you still have these experiences. And maybe your less than honorable discharge has to do with the fact that you made a poor choice in how to cope with something. Maybe you started misusing substances, alcohol or drugs. Maybe there was an explosion of anger and you had an expression of domestic violence. That didn't define you as a human being. It was a moment where you lost control. That's one of the reasons why I really like this concept that Code of Support has introduced, which is we will be there to help you regardless of your discharge status. That being said, good sir, I don't know yet how we cover down on the DoD civilians and the contractors. And that's a challenge for us in the future. I'm glad we've taken it from just looking at the active duty to the reserve component. That's been a huge step, but we still have a ways to go.
I got a question. This is for the last speaker. When you said you had sleepless nights, was it borderline PTSD level?
At the time, in that particular case that I was talking about, I was in the trauma, so I wasn't in the post period yet. But I would tell you that I struggle and will probably struggle for the rest of my life with my experiences as a service member. I edited a lot from this presentation, mostly because we only had 20 minutes. But I would tell you that there are, it's almost a silly distinction, but there's a distinction that some veterans make. There are veterans, and then which comes with a certain amount of experiences, and then there are combat veterans, which comes with another set of experiences. They're not. One is not necessarily worse than the others, but there are just differences. And I'm married to a combat veteran, and we don't. When I say I've never told my story, I mean my husband hasn't heard some of my story. we don't actually necessarily share our experiences. So if the question is, do I think I have post-traumatic stress? Almost definitely, but in that particular story, I was really just talking about the overwhelming sense of responsibility that you have to contend with as a leader in the military, and it can be overwhelming. We don't talk about it enough.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right. This is the event 2 of 6. So if you have any time at all tomorrow and you'd like to hang around with some more veterans and people who in the community support veterans, Festival Park is where it's at. So again, thank you for coming. I think Rachel and Kimberly would love to talk more. If there are other questions, you'd like to ask them privately. Again, thank you for coming. I think there may be more food. I don't know. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is really great. What a great group.